I'm murdered. Yeah, yeah. Coming up on Mental Health Matters with Marty, May is Women's Health Awareness. Stay tuned because we have some dynamic women talking to us about the importance of mental health and wellness for women. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's me. It's your host, your boy, Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and always in real time and living color, coming to you from Southern California, where the sun is always shining. As you know, because we're in the desert, y'all, it never rains in Southern California. If I was in better voice, I might sing it for you. But since we're not, listen, can y'all give us some of that cheap gas? Because I am tired of paying $6 plus. I think I paid $6.49 for a gallon this past week. But we hope you are doing well out there. Before we get started today, our hearts go out to that elementary school in Texas where 18 have now been confirmed dead in a shooting. And one of the teachers, my heart is overwhelmed, and I can't imagine sending my children to school and expecting them to come home to get that phone call that your child was one of the ones who were caught in a shooting, and that they won't be coming home, but they'll be going to in a body bag. And we have to stop this senseless shooting that's happening. Today marks the 30th shooting in schools across America this year alone. People, we have to speak up. We have to speak out in order that our children will have the opportunity to not only live, but be heard. And as long as we keep silent, they will never be heard. And these voices are cut short. We have allowed some senseless shooting to take the lives of future doctors, of future attorneys, of future police officers, of future firemen, of future dreamers. We can no longer allow the dream to explode, but we have to protect our young people. I just couldn't let today go by because my heart is so heavy as I celebrated the promotion of my daughter from kindergarten going into first grade. I can't imagine not having that celebration. And I can't imagine being those parents who are robbed of that joy of spending those promotion times with their children all over senseless shooting and hatred. And that goes on. We have to speak out against hatred. I don't care if you're clergy or not. Hatred is nowhere in the Bible whatsoever. And I'm so tired of these so-called preachers standing up and using their political views to justify their Christianity. The devil is a liar, and that cannot and will not continue to happen. We cannot remain silent when it comes to our children and when it comes to just standing up for what is right in thus saith the Lord. Amen. I'm sorry. I just felt that and needed to share that. I don't apologize. I'm sorry. This is my show. So if this is my show. I can say that. God bless you. So again, thank you for joining us. We hope that you have had a blessed week. Now, what is the intention of this show? The Mental Health Matters with Marty show is intended as a psychoeducational tool. We are not a replacement for your therapist, your doctor, your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your pastor, or anyone else, but we are meant to be a supplement or an additional bonus to your treatment plan. So therefore, if you're experiencing any type of psychiatric emergency, and we're seeing that happen all across the country, if you're experiencing any psychiatric emergency or any physical emergency, please call 911 or go to your nearest hospital or urgent care and get the necessary help that you need in order to live your best life. Now, how do you engage with us? I'm so glad that you asked that question. We are exclusively on YouTube, and you do that by being subscribing to the Mental Health Marty channel. And then we also want you to subscribe so that you can be notified every time we have a show, and you'll hear a little bell just like that, and it will remind you when we have our next show. But we are so glad that you are here today. I'm so excited about this. Hello, how are you, Valerie? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Hope all is well with you. I am so excited about this show today as we're talking about Black women's health and wellness. May is Women's Health and Wellness Month. And although it is Mother's Day, we have a lot of things going on, but I did not want this month to go by without having and celebrating our women, especially our Black women and our mothers and our women who are doing great things in the body and in our society. But it's so important not only that we remain mentally strong. Hello, Tanya. Good to see you. Thank you for always joining us and being so faithful every week. But we want to make sure that our women have the necessary tools. So today is going to actually be part one about talking about the the psychological and the emotional and spiritual wellness of women. And next week, we're going to go into the physiological as we're going to have the doctors. Come on, we're bringing the doctors back on our show next week. But I am so excited. This is like a family reunion, a reunion time with my first. She's not a guest. She's been a host on here. She's been a co-host. I've been a co-host on her show. And I am so glad, y'all, I've been so excited when she says, yes, I'm coming on. None other than my mentor, my little sister. I can't even call her big sister. My little sister, the host of none other than Portia Scott, the Hello, Darling host of her own podcast and show. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello, darling. How are you?
It's so good to see you.
Marty, I've missed you. I talk to you. I know we talk all the time, but in this space, I have missed you. I've missed you.
Yes. I have missed you so much. Listen, you're coming out here soon to California, right?
We are. Well, it'll probably be in July, but that's still soon. So yes. And we got to get together.
Okay. Yes, we got to get together. And all that. And then definitely, I thank you for allowing us to borrow your husband and everything. John Henry Scott III. Good evening. Hello from Georgia. I
Hello,
love it.
darling.
Portia Scott. Yes.
Hello, darling.
For those who have not heard you say that, that's just your trademark. I love that. Where and how did that birth about again?
So, hello, darling is a term of endearment that my mom used
Yes.
and she still uses it. And the reason why I
Yes.
use it is because it really was this whether you were in trouble or whether you were on top of the mountain, it was always, yes, darling. Yes, darling. I
Yes.
love you, darling.
Yes.
And so, hello, darling is really my term of endearment to anyone that
Yes.
comes on my show, the shows that I'm on. And it's really a way to make people feel like you're welcome, you're enough. No matter what situation
Yes.
you're in, no matter your past, you are enough. And that's really what Hello, Darling is.
I absolutely love that because I think so many of us struggle with being enough in this day and age. We always do these comparisons. What so and so is doing, we compare ourselves to other. Especially, I would love to say it's just women, but we men we're just a little bit more shallow. And don't ever in that we do
Thank you
these
for admitting
comparisons
that.
too. Well, admittance is the first step to correction and healing. But we
Right.
do this comparison all the time. And I
Mhm.
love that
Mhm.
term of endearment says that not only are you enough, that we're also friends and I value you. Why is
Absolutely.
that so important in this day and age of comparisons and especially for the Black woman who's in
Yeah.
competition against everyone, even other Black women?
Yeah, I think it's so important, especially for Black women to know. One of the things
Hmm.
that we talk about all the time is that when we go back even into the diaspora of Africa, and even when we look at slavery,
Yes.
the relationships between Black women were really deeply rooted. You know, they were really deeply rooted
Yes.
in community and loving one another and
Yes.
uplifting one another. And so, you know, we kind of
Yes.
take on what this colonialism is and we kind of miss
Hmm.
that. And so going back to that and
Yes.
getting back to the root of how important it is to have community, to support one another. I mean, even sometimes, you know, I've been in rooms and it's just me and another Black woman and there is this look that we give each other like, I see you. I see you, queen.
Right.
I
Right.
got you.
Right.
And so I think that's why it's just so important because our plight is different and you can slice it how
Yes.
you want to, but there are just some
Yes.
innate trauma based upon, you know, the
Yes.
transatlantic slave trade, based upon just systematic
Yes.
racism and things like that, that we need each other to
Yes.
hold on to. And so just to say, hello, darling, you matter. I love you and you're enough. Um,
Yes.
that's why
Is
I
that
think
our
it's
girl
extremely
Paula?
important.
Paula, I
That
miss
is
you.
Paula. Paula,
That
we
is
love
Paula.
you. We love you so very much.
And Paula, I owe you an apology. I needed to follow up with you and see how you are doing. When I saw you at your daughter's graduation, I pray that we are cancer free at this point in time, and know that you and your family have been in my hearts and prayers. And this is the community that we are, and I love that we can now share with one another in that regards.
Absolutely.
That leads me to this,
Absolutely.
Portia. You do this amazing. Grateful and reminding us not only are you enough but what are you, listen, hello darling Portia,
Hello.
what are you grateful for? And that is so healing because it goes to remind us today I am so grateful for my children and that they are alive in the midst of
Yeah.
everything. Talk to us about that attitude of I see it. I'm trying to force the tears not to come out
Right.
myself right now as well.
Mhm.
But where that gratitude came from and why is it so important for and since we're talking about women, for women to do that self reflection and gratitude on a daily basis?
Absolutely. You know, I always say that gratitude is the lens that changes our perspective. And so oftentimes we
Hmm.
think that gratitude just happens when, like, oh, you're having a bad day or something's going on. But life
Hmm.
be out here lifing, Marty, and we're moving a
Yes.
thousand miles per minute. And so, really, what gratitude does is that whether we're on the mountain, whether we're in the middle seasons of our lives, maybe we're in
Right.
a really tough season, it really gives us the opportunity to pause, breathe, and to really look at those moments that we can be grateful for. I think sometimes we're in
Yes.
the middle of moments and I mean, life is
Hmm.
happening and it is incredible. And I think
Hmm.
it's so easy for us to allow life to live right by us. And what that means is not
Yes.
taking this moment to say, this is a moment. I won't get this moment back,
Yes.
but in this moment, I am grateful holy as me. I am grateful for the sand between my toes. I'm grateful that I'm
Yes.
breathing. So
Yeah.
even no are because honestly, great things can be happening in our lives and we're not great. We don't have gratitude. We're not grateful. We're not taking that moment to
Yes.
say, this is a big thing. You know, whenever something is going on with you, Marty, what do I always say? Take this moment in. And I think it's so
Yes.
important for Black women to take that moment, to have that moment to breathe, to have that moment to pause and say, I
Yes.
am grateful for this moment, or whatever it is that
Yes.
you're grateful for. Because sometimes we got to reach back and we're going to have to pull something up because there's some hard seasons. And sometimes we need to remember a moment that made us smile, that made us laugh.
Come
And so for
on.
me, it's not just writing down 3 or 5 things, you know, but for me, I love to prompt people around like, what is that smell that you remember on somebody you love?
Mm.
Or where is that place that you go that you
Mm-hmm.
find peace that you're grateful for? So it's really thinking about those moments. I think
Come
it's so
on. Come
important to our
on.
mental health. It's so important to our soul health. It's so
Yes.
important to our spiritual health. Yeah, and so that's
That
why I
is,
do
that
it because I
is.
want to give people that opportunity. Just breathe a minute. Just take a moment,
Yes.
pause,
Yes.
breathe, and
Yes.
give that gratitude. Yeah.
Yes. I want to highlight before we bring on Dr. Story, you have this new um, gratitude, texting gratitude that you're doing. And I'm kind of jealous of, but I love it. And I can be in a godly jealous in a great way of what I'm so proud of you, Portia, and what you're doing. Share with us that
Thank you.
and what you are grateful for tonight. And everyone, before she does that, I want you to put in the comments what you are grateful for on tonight. Let it roll. Go. What you're grateful for. Go ahead, Portia.
You know, I'm so excited, Marty. You know, today I'm so grateful for that term of endearment, hello, darling.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
mom is my one of my biggest fans, and I'm so grateful that
Yes.
that one word has catapulted me into different communities. It has caused me to meet
Yes.
incredible people. It has been healing for me. And so sometimes when I'm sitting down, I'm like, hello, darling, because I am so grateful that those words encourage
Yes.
me, that those words push me when sometimes I felt like I was not enough. But I'm super excited
Yes.
because, listen, we have a lot of stuff going on. And one of the things we have going on is I created this 5-day gratitude. I call it a journey, this 5-day gratitude journey, because I don't think we ever get there, but it's a journey that we're on.
Right.
And so tonight, if you text the word gratitude, text the word gratitude to 404-737-0867. Immediately, you're going to get a text back, and it's going to give you this gratitude workbook as well as 5 days of audio. So I'm going to take you through the audio is less than 2 minutes, and it just takes you through a quick story and makes you think about those gratitude prompts. So again, if you text the word gratitude to 404-737-0867, everyone can get this gratitude journey. And if you're like, I've never done it, take it as part of your devotion, whatever. Have a moment to breathe, look at the workbook, and listen to the audio, and it'll take you through 5 days of gratitude.
That is a game changer. Oh my, that is such a game changer with that. So y'all, we're still looking for what are you grateful for? Put it in the chat. Yeah, grateful for turning come on, turning 60.
Val
I
turns
am not mad.
60
That's
on
on the chat.
Sunday.
Yes. Yes. Hey mom, I'm grateful
Yes,
for I get a huge I get to hug and love my little one tonight. Yes, yes.
yes.
Yes, that is great. That is great. I am grateful for
Mm,
friends and family who cheer for me, hold me up, and hold me down to when I need it. Yes, that is beautiful.
so
That is
good.
beautiful. That is. Hello, there's mom. Yes, hello, darlings. Yes, yes. There she is. Definitely. Definitely so good. But I want to bring on our next guest. You know, I sorry for the long intro, y'all. Y'all patiently waiting in the back, but we just got carried away like old times with that. She is no stranger to this show. She is the host of the daughter's dialogue and the Cinderella story as Cinderella syndrome is coming back. Stay tuned. It's coming back in June. None other than she's coming on a weekly basis, once a month basis on the first Tuesday of every month, part of our Black community, culture, and Christ. None other than the Reverend Dr. Marquerita Story. Dr. Story.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you guys. Listen, before we even get off in this, Marty, thank you so much for having me. But let me bow to the queen in green, baby, because she got her thing going on, and I am so grateful to God. You gotta give me the number again because you was going too fast for me. You know, I'm almost 60 years old, or either I'm gonna have to run the tape back on the YouTube, but I'm gonna be putting my thing in. I love what you are doing, Portia. Kill it. Kill it.
Yes.
Dr. Story, thank you so much. Coming from you, that means so very much. I watch you. I listen to Marty's show. I have prayed with you on your Facebook. Listen, so that is the thing, right? It's like being able to come together and have this community. And we don't even have each other's number, but I feel like I know Dr. Story. I feel like I can't wait till I meet her. So thank you so much.
Same here.
We're going to make sure y'all get each other's numbers and everything. Dr. Story, what are you grateful for on tonight?
I am grateful for this opportunity, number one, to be with you guys on this evening, but I'm also grateful for the topic that we're talking about on this evening. This is giving us an opportunity to deal with some of the stigma of saying that mentally we're having some challenges, and it is also giving us the opportunity for us to speak up and speak out and get the assistance that we need. But then this is also, I think, an opportunity for others to see that even as Portia was saying, and myself, like you want to celebrate someone sometime. And I love to say this: the future is female, and as soon as women come, I kind of lost the whole crowd, but that's okay because I say it all the time. But the future is female. And this is our time, and it is our turn. And as Portia has said, there are some things that are not a part of what our culture was about, and there was this capacity that women had of sharing and carrying one another through difficult times. That as we are emerging, we have bought into a lie that we have to emerge alone. And we don't have to emerge alone. No matter what, there is a place and a space for each and every one of us. But we also have to get rid of, as you say all the time, Marty, that stinking thinking. There are some thoughts that we believe about ourselves that we've got to rid ourselves of. I think I was sharing with you today as we were talking earlier that someone was kind of throwing me, Portia, kind of a backhanded compliment for me being so dark-skinned. You know, I'm good looking. And I was like, well, I'm going to take it as a compliment no matter how you're giving it. But then they were describing someone that they believe was beautiful. And she doesn't look anything like me. And she's the stereotypical, can pass thing. And after they continued to talk, I said, I might not be everybody's flavor, but there's some folk, baby, love dark chocolate. And if they do, I got about 213 pounds of it right over here, baby.
I can't with you tonight.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
But it is getting rid of some of those things that have hindered even our capacity to have strong mental health about who we are and what we're capable of doing and being. I'm loving. I was looking at the news the other day, and it was a young lady out of Atlanta, and she was on the news, but she had cornrows in her hair, and I was like, wait a minute. minute, baby, we done made it to the nose with the cornrows in the hair, because I thought we were gonna die when Meghan Markle's mother fell up in the wedding
Mm-hmm.
with plaits in her hair, because that chick had plaits.
Right.
And I said, you
Yes.
better wear it, and you better wear it well. But it was
Absolutely.
one of those things that I was like, wow, we're emerging in a
Yes.
strength. And even ridding
Yes.
ourselves of some of those stigmatizing
Mm-hmm.
disparities about what is beautiful and what is not beautiful. And I'm
Yes.
loving that. But I'm also
Yes.
loving seeing women say it's too much. And I've said this before, and Portia, I'm sure you've heard it before. As African American women, the expectation is that we ought to be able to take every pressure that is around
Mm.
without anyone ever seeing us sweat or
Mm.
anyone ever
Mm-hmm.
having to aid
That's
us.
so
But
good.
but if there is a Caucasian woman, she break her doggone fake fingernail, then we've got to send, the
We
army,
got to send the
at least the
paramedics. We
National
got to
Guard
send the
out for
National
them.
Guard.
They
Gotta
got to
go,
take off.
right?
Exactly. They got to take off of work, because there's also a disparity in
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the pressure that we as women ought to be able to take. And one of the things I've been working on, and y'all got to push me to get this out, is Precious. And I know we've had a
Mm.
movie, and somebody was doing something else in it. But one of the things I am raising in this is that brown and black girls are not raised always to understand how precious we really are, even how precious
That's
our
so
health
good.
is, how
That's
precious our
so
mental
good.
Right.
health is, how
That's
precious
good.
our physical bodies are. They're fragile,
Talk
and
to
they're
us, Dr.
very,
Story.
very precious. And because no, we've not always had that dialogue and had that teaching of how precious it is, many of us
Yeah.
are finding ourselves in our 30s, 40s, and 50s on medications because of stresses,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing how to
Mm-hmm.
deal with this precious vessel that God has given us. And so,
That's
I don't
good.
have everything I need, so I may have to get Portia and our and their
Yes,
other guests
I'm
to
let
help
me
me
tell
out
you,
with it.
I will help you. And that's the thing, is that
Yes.
we need people to say that, right? We need to have
Mhm.
these
Yes.
conversations so that women, like my daughter, who is 14 years old, that she can hear this,
Yes,
that she knows that
yes,
she is precious,
Yes.
and that there's a
yes,
community around her. And so as we're even looking
yes,
at communities, that we have a community that we can lean on and talk to and say, I am
Yes.
having a hard time. We already know
There
that
we go.
society thinks that Black women, even with our pain, that we have a higher tolerance than pain than most races.
Mm-hmm.
That is not
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm-hmm.
We are
it is
already
Right.
not.
just like born with this thing on our shoulders. And so you just
Yes,
Yes.
take it after year after year. And
An
so if
unrealistic
we are
yes,
not
expectation.
there,
unrealistic,
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hmm.
exactly. And so to
Since we're
have
talking
those
about community,
conversations.
yes. I want to bring in our final guest with us tonight. Listen, this is her first time, so y'all give her a wonderful welcome on the Mental Health Marty Show. She is a powerful, not only woman of God, but she is powerful that she is a Black female psychologist. And I am so proud of her that she is a doctor. So I want to bring to the stage with us for the very first time, but it definitely will not be the last time, by way of Chicago. Listen, I need some deep dish pizza and some Garrett's popcorn about right now. None other than Dr. Adrian Ervington. Dr.
Hello.
Ervington, how you doing, darling?
I am blessed. I am so blessed. I'm just sitting here just basking in the wonderfulness
Yes.
of just Dr. Story and Sister Portia. I'm just sitting here just learning and sinking in and everything. It's just beautiful.
Yes, yes. Dr.
Mhm.
Irvington, since this is your first time, please share with us who you are, what you do, and I'm going to go here, and what you are grateful for on this evening.
Absolutely. Okay. Let me understand the assignment. Okay. I am raised. I'm a native-ish of Chicago, Illinois. Praise God. I
Okay.
am the only child to my mother. Praise God. And I went to college. I did my undergrad in psychology at Chapman University. That's where I met Reverend Marty. I was attending Friendship Baptist Church, and the Reverend Marty was my biblical education teacher. I'm sure I'm kind of jacking that title up, Marty, but and so I went on ahead, graduated, and came back to Chicago, where I completed my graduate education at what is now known as Adler University. I received my master's in counseling psychology and my doctor of psychology in clinical psychology with the emphasis on marriage and family therapy. And so I've been blessed to have an opportunity to work for, I did the bulk of my training, so a good 5 years with children, families, and adolescents in high-risk areas, a lot of community psychology, was able to do a lot of work in therapeutic day schools, so working with a lot of our children with issues with conduct disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, antisocial personality disorders. And so then
you did some heavy duty ones.
Boy. Oh boy. And so
I do the light ones.
Oh no. They're ones that make you work. Oh yeah. Good and challenging.
Yes.
And so then I had an opportunity to work in the Cook County Department of Corrections with women with substance abuse issues and co-occurring diagnoses of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, a lot of trauma, a lot of even some thought disorders, so some schizophrenia, schizoaffective.
God bless you.
And it taught me a lot. And so for the last 5 years, I've been working with the Department of Veterans Affairs. And I've had the opportunity to work in a lot of different areas. So I've worked in the inpatient mental health units. I've worked with the residential programs. And I now work as a suicide prevention psychologist. And so I'm doing therapy evidence-based therapy for veterans at risk of suicide.
I told y'all
Martin, I love it. You know, when she said veteran, like my eyes just watered up. So I'm a veteran. My husband's a veteran. And I'm actually an Iraqi war. I'm an Iraqi war veteran. And so just knowing the work from, that just like warms my heart. So thank you
both
for your work.
service. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
But thank you for what you're doing.
Yes. After you came in here and just blew us away with this heavy dossier. Oh my God. What are, Portia was says, yes. God bless this queen from Chicago. They need you. Listen, we need you. Our community needs you. And what we're talking about, one of the things that working with children, especially, and my passion is for young men, we see that they are misdiagnosed. And when that diagnosis is wrong, because we see opposition or when they're really depressed. So we put them on the wrong medications, and therefore they're doing something contrary and they're having this reaction to all these wrong medication. It's like I'm giving you diabetes medication and I should be giving you something for your blood pressure.
Absolutely.
Talk about what you see with some of these diagnoses and some of the common misdiagnoses that we have about Black women.
Oh my goodness, Marty, it happens so often. One of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest things that I see that is missed with diagnoses is that it never is truly a comprehensive biopsychosocial. And so a lot of times when there are diagnoses, there is treating of the symptoms, but if you don't have a full picture of what's going on in the lives, then you really can't really deal with or address the challenges. Like I see a lot of, for example, children diagnosed with ADHD or even worse, diagnosed with bipolar, but no one has truly delved into the family history and was able to kind of see what are some contributing factors. You may actually see those symptoms but they very much align with post-traumatic stress disorder. So if you're seeing abuse in the home, if you're seeing all of the dynamics in the neighborhoods, if you're seeing a situation where family friends are being shot, where their best friends at school are being shot, that's vicarious trauma. So if you're having to go to a place where you could be triggered because of what's going on, well, then, yeah, it's going to be difficult to focus. Yes, it's going to be difficult to do what needs to be done in class because there are other things that's going on. And so I feel like that is a very big mishap that happens with diagnoses where we're not really seeing the entire picture or taking into account the entire picture. And then what happens is that this narrative follows our children. And so then it goes with them into the classroom where they're, because of their diagnosis, being treated a different way. And so then it follows them when they want to do different things or go different career paths. And I'm often so touched by the story that happens with our soldiers, praise God, when they're having to do, they're going into the military and they're having all of these traumas, and no one is truly supporting all of the things that they're holding both before they came to the military and then while they're in the military. And then when it's time for them to transition back into civilian life, there isn't that support to really hold and help them to guide through all of this now.
Come on and teach us.
That they're holding. And so then they're expected to go out into the world and just completely be successful. And no one is really stopping to say, you're holding a lot. You're doing a lot. Let me support you. And so then it's medication and support.
Listen, both y'all go on here. Portia, talk to me, and then Dr. Story, y'all follow up with that, about that comment about one with our daughters, because you have a daughter, Portia, and sometimes the judgment and misconception, and then that whole stuff about women in military and a lot of the trauma and PTSD that comes about. Because y'all was going, amen, go ahead, my sister. Go ahead, Portia.
I was just like, yes to everything she was saying. I mean, really getting the whole picture, but I think especially for women in the military, because a lot of times the stipulation or people think that, oh, well, women aren't really on the front line. So meaning that they don't really see death or they don't really see this destruction because they're usually in jobs that don't entail them to be like a sniper. You wouldn't necessarily see them, but a lot of stuff that they do see. And so I think a lot of them come back with a lot of this, PTSD and holding it in. And so I think that what Dr. Ervington is talking about is very, very true, is somebody to be there and say, like, we understand that you likely saw some of the same stuff that your male counterparts, but we are really focused on the male. And I want us to focus on all of our soldiers, but
That's
really
good.
paying attention to those women and why they're acting out or why they're doing this is because they've seen the same thing. For me, I wasn't necessarily a sniper. I was doing mail and I worked for the colonel, but I will tell you what messed me up was when I had to get mail back from soldiers that had passed away that I had seen, that had been in my post office. And so while I did not necessarily see that, you hold that trauma, you hold that that hurt and that pain and knowing somebody. So Dr. Ervington, I definitely agree, and just encourage that even for women in the military, like having that space to say, this is a lot. This is a lot. And even for women who have children and who have babies, we don't really talk about that. They usually have to give over power of attorney to somebody so that they can deploy. And the military does not care if you're a mother. If after your maternity leave, your baby can be 3 months old and you can still get deployed. And that can still be living with a mother. So really understanding all of those nuances.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then when you begin to think about, like, I apologize. When you think about that first year of life, where the mother and the child, really the existence and the ability for that child to thrive is really based on that year and the ability to attach to the mom. So if you're pulling a mom away from their child during those powerful, intricate months where things need to be developed, think about the trauma or the narrative that's being passed on, and the things that
That's
child
good.
is now lacking. So you're having like this trauma, and you're having these experiences not just impacting the women, so being able for them to be able to have to separate from their children, but now it's
Right.
passing on, and it becomes a generational piece, and it becomes something
Wow.
that continues to spread
Talk
and
to
pass on
us.
to these families.
Yeah.
And during those first years of life, what's kind of happening there is something that stays with that child. Is very difficult to
Yes.
erase. Now, we know the power of God, and we know the power of healing. But what we need
Yes.
to be aware of is what we're designing and what happens and what we're developing when we're not taking into account. This is not just a soldier. This is a woman.
Yes.
This is a mother. This is someone who is a
Yes.
part of their community. You're not just ripping away an
Yes.
individual. You are ripping away
Right.
a major part of the village.
Yes. You better talk,
So,
Dr.
Yes.
Ervington. Talk to us, Dr.
Love that.
Story.
I'm agreeing with everything that Portia, Dr. Irvington had shared. One of the traumas I think I could say that I experienced was
Mm-hmm.
being in the theater, and I was doing air traffic control, Portia. While I was there, seeing the men from the Army get off of one of the C5s, and it was my brother Tony. And both of us were in the same theater, and they were never supposed to
Wow.
have siblings in the
A
same
sister
theater,
and
and I
brother.
knew
That's
that
right.
they were getting ready to go to a very dangerous
Yes.
area, and because
Uh-huh.
of the type of background that I had, I was able to get information, and it just knowing my brother's about to deploy into an area where he may not come back because of some things
Mm.
that I was aware of. That trauma, being a sister
Mm.
and not a mother, but a sister. And
Mm-hmm.
you hear
That's
all of
good.
these rules that, oh, no one, they never send spouses into the same theater when it's a war, or they'll never send brothers or sisters. And it's not true. When it's a
Mm.
difficult time, they may try,
Yes.
but they
Grace and
try later.
different.
They, and it's like,
Yep.
sugar, you do air traffic, we're going to send you down to Doha, Qatar. We're going to
Yes.
leave him where he is, and you still in the same theater, but you're not
Wow.
that close, and it's not that bad,
Right.
and you're going to finish your
Mm-hmm.
job. And it is a challenge, and it is trauma after trauma, like Portia was saying. I didn't work with the mail, but when you get the wrong word, that some of the people that load masters and pilots that you knew of, that we've lost their aircraft, and you don't hear anything. No one ever will update you on something, and you're just like, did anybody ever find out, what
Mm-hmm.
happened? To this one or
Mm-hmm.
that one, and that will traumatize you. And then living on high alert for months on end. That's a
Mm-hmm.
trauma. That girl, Dr. Urban, I'm just glad somebody there, because trust me, they
Yeah.
signed my DD 214, kissed me in the mouth, and told me bye. And so I'm grateful, because it wasn't, no one talked
Yes.
to me about talking to
Right.
About.
somebody
That's
about
Right.
it.
right.
My brother, he was in the Army, I was in the Air Force, and they
Mm-hmm.
felt like that was different. That trauma made what he saw was a
Yes.
little different, but I was traumatized. I was
Yes.
traumatized from start to
Mm-hmm.
finish, because it happened all of a sudden, because I was in the European theater at the time, and then all of a sudden everything started happening, and it is trauma. And then to Portia's and Dr. Irvington's point, when you've got mothers that have signed away their children, and then you're not
Mm-hmm.
getting mail, and you cannot get
Mm-hmm.
phone calls, and you
Male.
cannot
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
do video, and you cannot do
Mm-hmm.
anything, and for them to attempt to stay focused on a mission or a job or anything, it was a lot. And I'm just grateful that we're still talking about mental health, and just our health
Yes.
in
Yes.
general. But one of the things I was sharing with Marty was that for me, I never really even understood what being healthy was.
That's good.
because
That's
many
good.
times
Mm.
no one really defines that. It's like, healthy
That's
Yeah.
eating.
right.
Okay, well, that means no sugar or what have you, but that
No
does not
carbs. Yeah.
necessarily mean
Mm-hmm.
no carbs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm learning how and what to put in my body and
Right.
how to do
That's so
those
good.
things. And
That's
so, as
true.
I was looking at even the mental health, what does it
Right,
mean
right,
to
right.
be mentally
To be
healthy?
healthy.
And
Healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
right, and spiritually healthy, and
Yes.
psychologically healthy, and relationally healthy, but in specifics with this. And one of the things I'm finding out is it's a well-being that does not
Mm-hmm.
mean it's an absence of. And
Right.
so,
That's
Portia, you
good.
you brought up
Yeah.
earlier about being grateful or expressing gratitude, not always in the
Yes.
Yes.
absence of problems or things going on,
Mm-hmm.
but you were
Right.
suggesting that we can discover that. And even with
Mm-hmm.
being mentally healthy, it may not be in the absence of trauma or triggers,
Right.
That's good. That's good.
but there is a place and a space where our well-being can be maintained. And I don't know
Yeah.
enough about it, so I'm throwing that out because the
I
smarter
think that's an
people can say
excellent
something
point.
on that.
Oh,
But I
stop it.
do
Stop it.
believe we
Stop
Good
need
it.
to
point.
talk on it.
I agree
Absolutely.
with you, and I'm glad you make
Yes.
that wonderful segue into that, because when we're talking about health and wellness, we know the terms, I think, from a very superficial level, but do we
Mm-hmm.
really
Mhm.
understand what our own health and wellness? And since this is about women and Black women specifically, about their own health and wellness, what does, and Dr. Adrian, I'm going to go clinical first, and then Portia, I'm going to go out to you with that, and then wrap around to Dr. Story. What does
Okay.
clinically health and wellness look like when we're talking about psychological and emotional health and wellness of the Black woman? Let's start there.
Wow. Well, when we think about mental, we focus a lot on mental illness. And I
Yes,
think it's
yes.
so important that we balance that with the wellness. So when we think about illness,
Come
we think
on.
about things that impede our daily functioning,
That's
right?
right. That's
So
right.
things that can block us from being able to do the things that we normally do. So when we think about wellness, then we want to think
Right.
about things that propel our ability to do the things
Yes.
that we need to do. And so the
Yes.
first thing that, when we think about wellness, a big piece of that is consistency. And so
Yes.
Yeah,
it's something that is
yeah,
That's
a
good.
daily routine that is a part of what is a normal. It's not something that's
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary. It becomes something that's
Mm-hmm.
normal. And I think that one of the biggest challenges that we have in the Black community, especially with Black women, is self-care. And
Ooh,
yes,
talk
so
to us again.
to do is we feel as though, because we're nurturers, we're givers, and so you'll
Yeah.
find and with Black women going from that spirit of Medea, we will just give out, we give
Come on, Spirit
out,
of
we give
Medea.
out, and so it's
Just so
no where we're just
okay,
we're just out, but we don't necessarily do anything to replenish what we've given.
right,
And
mm,
so then
that's
we
right,
good.
find ourselves, that's where that mental illness or those challenges become, because we're in deficit and we're no longer able to do the things that
That's
we
good.
would want to do.
yes,
So then being able to incorporate a daily thing of
That's
caring for
good.
ourselves. So being able to make taking that hour for yourself a daily
Mm-hmm.
routine, making that
Mm-hmm.
prayer time a daily routine, making the
Mm-hmm.
ability to have worship and that place of your peace, having a place of peace
Mm-hmm.
in your home is your place of peace. It's not something that
right,
is uh
Mm-hmm.
right,
that's
Protect your peace,
extraordinary.
baby.
It's just a place that is, this is my peace, and I'm going to guard my
Yes.
peace with my
Yes.
yes,
daily
God,
activity. So we have to be able to love ourselves. I think that's going
I
to
love it
be the
because
biggest key of mental wellness. We
that's
have to
it.
love ourselves so that we can
Love
care for ourselves. The
ourselves.
Bible says, love the Lord with all your heart, your mind, your soul. Number two,
You
love
better
your
pull out the
neighbor
Bible.
Your
as
neighbor
yourself.
As
as
your
yours.
How can I
yes,
love my
very
neighbor if
good,
I'm not loving myself?
very,
So it
very
has to
good,
be something
very good.
Ooh. Dr. Irving,
Yes.
you ain't going to come up here and then first give us clinical definition of health and wellness and then turn over and do the Bible. See, I told y'all she should, but I love it.
She's
You do
gonna
it from a
preach.
holistic approach. She going to preach no
Yeah,
matter what.
absolutely.
You give her a microphone,
Yeah.
she going to preach. You say Jesus 3 times, she going to shout. But
Thank you, Lord.
Don't be telling my story, Marty.
listen, the three of us just gonna come over and join you. Be like, go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love the holistic approach, and you said something that was very key. Women are nurturers. And so we don't, you all don't take care of yourselves a lot of times. And I think we have misdefined self-care as being selfish.
Yes.
And that becomes a
Very
problem. We need to redefine. Y'all, I'm having camera problems, but I'm still here in voice. Y'all still hear me.
We can hear
I don't know
you.
what's going on with this.
Yes.
Yes, that's all right. But men have problems in that we want to be providers. And so as a result of being a provider, we don't know how to take care of ourselves. Women think that they have to be the nurturers. Men think they have to be the providers, and ain't nobody taking care of themselves. Portia, talk to us about that. Continue on.
Listen,
with
I'm gonna say something that all of the boss babes, they are not gonna agree with. But I am, balance is for clowns. Balancing is for clowns, and it was not created for us to balance. For me, I believe we're in alignment with who it is that we are and what's important in our lives. And so, yes, we can have.
You are not going to drop that on us and just think you're going to move
no,
on.
And then
Balance is for clowns. Right.
You about to start that all over again.
Yes.
Balance is for clowns. That is a clown act. That was not created for us to keep all the balls in the air and be a babe and all. That's not realistic. And so we have all these Instagram and Facebook posts. I'm balancing it all. I got the kids. My house is clean. Kids are doing great. My husband's amazing. I'm making food all at the same time. I'm going to get my doctorate. And so the thing is alignment. Aligning your life with what is important to you. See, and everything goes around that.
To change
and
my whole therapeutic approach.
You can have it all, but but none of us have it all at the same time. Because there are times when I'm more focused on this or I'm more focused on that. Because I am in alignment, it's not that stuff drops. It's just that I may have more time to spend to this. And so I think it's so important when we're not trying to balance it all, when we're not trying to do everything, but say, you know what is important to me? For me, my family, time with my family is important. And so if something else takes away that time, exactly, in that moment, but they're aligned with what's going on too. And so I think it's very important that we have, as Dr. Ervington was saying, these Sabbath moments. I like to have these Sabbath moments. What I do is 7 minutes a day. I close my computer, close my phone, and I sit in silence. That is my Sabbath moment, because sometimes we can't go on sabbatical that day, that sometimes we can't take a whole day. But if we have these Sabbath moments that we have built in, and so having these Sabbath moments, sometimes my Sabbath moment is getting on the Peloton. Sometimes my Sabbath moment is swimming or hiking. Those are, so having these Sabbath moments and then having your spiritual regimen. Dr. Ervington talked about that. What is my spiritual regimen? What is going to be the thing that I am going to stay in line so that I keep my relationship with God intact and I keep my relationship holy with myself, right? And so having that spiritual regimen, what does that look like? And then what is that self-care regimen as well? And making sure that, listen, I am going to put it on my calendar. Nobody touches this time. This is my time to read 10 minutes because I miss reading. And just because I'm a mom, a wife, a pastor, a business owner, a host, that is not going to come in between what I am going to do. I need that 10 minutes because that makes me a better wife, a better sister, a better friend, a better pastor, a better this. So making sure that we have these regimens in place and nobody can come in between that. And that's my time. And so making sure that we are aligned and not trying to balance everything.
I love that so much. I love
that is so good because men
Woo.
can relate to alignment. We get our cars aligned because it's off. It's
Yes,
pulling to the
yes,
right or
yes.
pulling to the left,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
need to go
yeah.
straight. And y'all, I wasn't that great at geometry. However, yes, alignment, baby. Yes, listen, come on, Sean LeRae. Sean LeRae is a fabulous therapist out here in Southern California in her own private practice, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I'm gonna have her on and everything. But alignment says this also: the shortest distance between two objects is a straight line. So if I need my
That's right.
Yeah.
success, I need to align myself and make sure I go in a straight line. If I need my
Yeah.
wellness, I need to realign myself and go into that straight line. Because as I'm aligning
Mhm.
myself, I'm not balancing myself out. I'm aligning myself out because I need to get to the shortest distance to my wellness. Talk to
Yeah.
me, Dr. Story. Y'all about to make me shout up in here.
Woo.
Listen, I'm
Hey.
about to get a usher and a fan because I'm going to do the benediction now. May the Lord watch between me and thee.
Yes.
Listen, this has been incredible. But just to continue with what Portia and Dr. Irvington had mentioned
Yes.
in reference to us having a spiritual regimen or focusing
Yes.
on our spiritual well-being, one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I believe is we've got to foster self-forgiveness.
Come
Ooh.
on.
That's got to
Ooh.
be a part of what we do. We've got to learn how to
Yes.
forgive ourselves for not
My
Come on.
God.
meeting that goal today, for not
Yes.
Yes,
doing everything, for
yes.
not being
My
at our
God.
best
Yes.
at every time, for somebody
Yes.
catching us with our slip
Yes.
showing. We've got to operate in some
Yes.
self-forgiveness. But then, as
Come on.
Portia was saying, we need that 7 minutes. We need those time out
Mm.
times. We need those meditative, reflective times because too
Yes.
often we are
Yeah.
human doings and not human
Mm.
beings. We,
Come
we,
on.
we're
Wow.
only wanting to come
Wow.
up with what we're doing.
Woo.
We're human
Jesus.
doings and not human beings.
Woo.
And
Mhm.
God is a
Mm.
being. He
Yes, he
is
is.
present. And
Yes.
we've got to
Woo.
be in his
Yes.
presence. And that's why we've got to
Yes.
Yes.
actively, as a part of our spiritual wellness, work on
Mm-hmm.
being in his presence and do some
Come
spiritual
on.
time of
Mm,
reflection as well. The
Yes.
other thing that I
Yes.
believe we need are spiritual mentors. Now, I'm not talking
Yes.
about just pastors. I'm talking
mhm,
about
Right.
mhm.
spiritual mentors,
Yes.
Mature
individuals
people.
who have wisdom and who have
Mm-hmm.
Mature,
walked
yes.
with God long enough
Yes.
to
Enough.
speak
Yes.
into
Yes.
circumstances because we
Come
act
on.
as if just because
Yes.
somebody got a REV that it means that they know ALL, and that is not
Right.
true.
Come on. Talk to
That's
us.
That's
not
an
true.
NO.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to say that again. Just because their title is REV doesn't mean they
REV.
know ALL. They don't
ALL. You
know
better
it
talk
all.
to a
And there
story.
are some
My
things
God.
that we're going to have some spiritual mentorship. And one of the things I believe is that Ruth was able to get her Boaz was because
Come
she had
on.
a spiritual mentor that she was
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
able to follow. She knew
Mm-hmm.
she had her best interests in mind. She said, girl, get
Yes.
yourself together, put something cute on, have some smell
Yes.
good on, and don't get in that boy bed, lay at his feet. Y'all not gonna say nothing because we always trying to
Come
run to
on.
bed. And, okay,
You better come
okay, that's not
on.
where we're going. That's not where we're going. But
Woo!
we gotta
Don't you
learn.
talk
We
to
gonna
We
have
gotta
another.
learn
We gonna
how
have
to
to have another
listen.
show.
Woo.
Yes.
Right. But we've got to learn how to listen to spiritual mentors that they've already
Woo.
been there before, and they will be able to guide us and guard us
Yes.
as we go.
Yes.
The other thing
Yes.
is that we've got to be
Y'all ain't gonna make me run.
spiritually inspired to do some things.
Yes.
Come
There
on.
is something about the presence and the power of the gift of the Spirit of God that resides on the inside of us. And when we
Mm-hmm.
are allowing the Spirit of God to
Mm-hmm.
operate through us, it inspires us and it empowers us to do
Yes.
those
Yes.
Yes.
things where we don't have to balance, but we can stay
Yes.
in alignment, as Portia
Alignment.
has said.
Yes.
Come
We
on.
don't have to
Yes.
have balls all up in the air.
Yes.
Baby, it can all be in godly
Mm-hmm.
control. And there are some
Yes.
times we see people who are able to do much,
Ooh.
and it is
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that they have been godly inspired and godly
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
guided. And that's
Come
why they
on.
are
Yes.
able to accomplish on a level
Yes.
that others are not able to
Most
accomplish.
people are
I
not.
don't
Come
care how
on.
smart you are. I don't care how
You're
many
talking good.
calendar
You're
tricks you
talking
can come
good.
up with.
Yes.
If
My
if
Come
God.
God
on.
don't say yes to it, if God doesn't open up that door, there is a frustration that's going to be found.
Uh-oh.
And I
So
believe
true.
it is in spiritual wellness and in our spiritual
Yeah.
care as women that we'll be able to do all that God has called us to do. Because I done told y'all, the future is female.
It's
Future is
female.
Don't- don't-
female. Love that. I love that
Y'all
so
will not gang up
much.
on the only man on this show tonight. But you know what? I can't believe our time is up. We got to do a part 2 in the
Yeah.
near
Thank you,
future
Jesus.
so soon. This
Me
has
too.
Yeah.
been absolutely powerful, amazing.
Wonderful.
Y'all, I love it. Came from the heart. I've learned so much. Yes, yes. Take us right there. Listen, I know that's right. I know that's right. Real quick, because we are so much out of time. We're running just a little over. Thank y'all on the East Coast who have stayed up with us. John Henry Scott III, my brother, my mentor. You know I love you, man, for staying up because I know this is way past your bedtime. But anyway, Dr. Ervington, how can we get a hold of you?
You can reach me on my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram, Adrian Ervington, Dr. Adrian Ervington. You can find me on Instagram.
Yes.
You can, I'm primarily on social media. If you need to connect with me through LinkedIn, I'm on there as well. And just stay tuned for more to come. I'm just looking forward to all the things that God
Love
has in
it.
store. So a private practice is probably coming in the near future. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm just so
Dr.
honored
Ervington,
to
you
be here.
know, whatever resources I have, this was yes. Listen, thank thank you, Ronette. Yes, this is very, very, very powerful, and whatever I can do to support you in this, you're too
Thank
powerful to work for other folk. They need to see our community needs you. Thank you for your wisdom and just taking it. You have this amazing ability, taking the difficulty of the clinical, the complex, and making it simple for all of us. Yes, yes. Gotta run this episode back real good. Yes, Jerron, got to. Jerron, thank you for your loving support always. Another Pam, look for the replay. Pam, where you been? Love you, darling. Definitely. Dr. Story, talk to us. How do we get a hold of you? And yes.
Well, once again, Marty, thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to be with these incredible women. I am just so
Yes.
honored to be here. But you can get me on social media, on Facebook. I'm Dr. Marquerita Story or Marquerita Story, or on Instagram, Twitter, Miss Rita Story on there, because I got young people that are on Instagram and they used to call me Miss
Right,
Rita.
right.
You remember that, Marty, when I worked with the kids.
Uh-huh.
And so
Yes.
my 40-year-olds are on, they're still calling me Miss Rita. But I'm there, and I am at the I'm at the New Hope Baptist Church of Corona, Queens, New York,
Yes.
Impact Christian Fellowship, and Ebenezer Baptist Church of Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
And we are so glad we
Marty,
have
I
some more
love you.
exciting news. I love you too, because I just worked this child to death. God bless you. Y'all know me. I will work someone for a chicken leg and a roll.
And I don't eat chicken, so then I got to eat all of the
Oh
rolls,
Lord.
and then they puffing up on my stomach.
Well, I'll take the chicken.
Yeah, yes. So, Portia, how do we get a hold of you, darling?
Absolutely. So I'm on IG everywhere. I am Portia Scott. But we are rolling out a new show called Hello, Darling. And
Yes.
so come in and have these heartfelt conversations. We're going to have fun. You may laugh, you may
Beautiful.
cry, but really, we're telling stories
Woo!
about the human experience. Our launch date is July 10th. July 10th. So you can
Woo!
follow us now on Instagram and YouTube, knowing we're coming at Hello, Darling TV. That's Darling, Darling. Also, I just want to run it back that whoever is on today, if you text the word gratitude, we are giving you our 5-day gratitude journey. If you text the word gratitude to 404-737-0867, once you text it, you'll get this gratitude journey. It's a workbook and 5 days of audio. Also, what this does is, I'm not going to lie, it puts you in our funnel so you know whenever the show is going live. We also send
Yes.
inspirational quotes and text. And so, but definitely get this gratitude workbook in audio. I think it will absolutely bless you.
Most definitely. I cannot thank you all enough. Dr. Story, we're going to be launching back the Daughters Dialogue and the Cinderella Syndrome because we got to finish that up. Listen, with that. And for those who are following, please check out Dr. Story. She prays every single solitary day. What time do you do that on Facebook Live? Every day.
Noon, Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.
Yes. 12 o'clock. No. Yes, yes, yes. To being ready. That's right. That's right. Always ready. And I cannot thank you enough. Daryl, we're going to go straight to the closing with that since we are over time. We have learned so much. I want to just leave this to you. Listen, as Portia has definitely shared with us, balancing is for clowns. We want you to be aligned in everything in your life, aligned in your spiritual wellness, aligned in your mental wellness, aligned in your emotional wellness, and more than that, aligned in your physical well being. We don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in the shadow of shame. But as I say usually, we want you to speak up, speak out,
Yeah.
so that you can live and be heard, because that is the direction to living your best life. We'll see you next week as we have the show with the doctors. Oh my God, you thought this was great? The doctors are going to come back next week, and we're going to have these amazing female doctors talk to the women about keeping their physical bodies healthy as well. Stay blessed, stay strong. Please continue to pray for those families in Texas as we and hug your own children extra hard tonight. God bless. Thank you.
God bless you.